Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sports on your favorite sports platform for Zan Sports. You can see I'm not in a good mood at all. The effect of Anthony Taylor is on, and it has carried through till today when we watched the game yesterday, and so it's not surprising at all to see me in this mood. And anyway, before we proceed with the analysis, do well to subscribe to the channel if it happens to be your first time of coming here. Touch the notification bell, share the program to as many viewers as possible, smash the like button if you enjoy my presentation, and then just comment to agree or disagree with my analysis on this episode. And the Liverpool-Chelsea game is an important game of the season, one of the important games of the season. And I must say, currently, if you rank it on the pedestal, if it's not first, it will be second. I still think in the past a year or so up till today, City and Chelsea, Manchester City and Chelsea are the top teams in England, and they are playing the big games. But Liverpool is not far off from this classification, and so games involving Chelsea and Liverpool has so much at stake. And the sponsors of the game would like to see good game. That's why they pay billions of pounds sterling to the 20 Premier League clubs to provide a platform for everybody to compete. And I don't know if some referees have consistently have an agenda against Chelsea. One of these referees being Anthony Taylor. His consistency in awarding Chelsea red cards in games is surprising. The consistency is too much. Even in games that you think other opponents, Chelsea players, are victims of tough tackling, the referee will ignore it and turn a blind eye to it and go and tackle a Chelsea issue which doesn't merit a caution. A classical example being 3 years ago under Frank Lampard, Matthew Kovacic was sent off for a tackle which he went in, which camera replay showed that he was even the victim of the tackle. Antonio Taylor went ahead to give him second yellow card and red card for that matter. And also he sent David Luiz in previous games also, and Victor Moses also. In that one game final, he sent 2 players off, Victor Moses and I think Matthew Kovacic. Yeah, that was the game against Arsenal, which Arsenal won 2-0. And Alex Sanchez also dived into the box of Chelsea. The referee, Anthony Taylor, this same referee awarded a penalty against Chelsea. And I have done a full video on Antonio Taylor. If you haven't watched it, please get time to scroll through my videos and watch it at your own convenience. And it's not the first time I'm talking about this referee. Yeah, so it was a beautiful game, but the referee prevented the world from enjoying that beautiful game. So many talking points into the game, of course, so many talking points. In the first few minutes, it was a balanced game between Chelsea and Liverpool. You could see that all the teams were playing, and Chelsea were creating chances. Liverpool were also creating chances. Even 11 against 11 before Kai Havertz got the first goal for Chelsea. Excuse me. Yeah, before Kai Havertz got the first goal for Chelsea, Chelsea were playing, but even Chelsea could have even killed the game before even the red card, because there were some chances in which one instance where N'Golo Kante should have passed to Romelu Lukaku. He was standing on side clearly, and he chose to give the pass to, I think, Mason Mount or somebody there. So lack of services of Romelu Lukaku prevented us from getting our second goal. And also the controversy, then came the controversial sending off of Reece James. So many talking points have gone in here and there with respect to how the law should be applied whatsoever. But I am a person who is against referees spoiling games. Even last season, if you quite remember, I highlighted in one of my videos that in the game between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur, you remember Antonio Martial was given a red card in the second minute, in which Tottenham Hotspur went to win 6-1. right? So in that case, though, Antonio Martial touched the chin of that player to look as if he was slapping him a little bit. I was thinking the referee should have given me a yellow card because it was the second minute or so. It could have spoiled the game, which really went to spoil the game. And United lost. United were hammered or walloped 6-1 by Tottenham Hotspur. You see, so this kind of behavior spoil is not in the case of Chelsea that I highlight. That's why I gave you one typical example that was against the decision of the referee involving Manchester. In that case, Manchester was the victim of that poor officiating in that case. But in most cases anyway, Manchester do have the better part of English referees, and so possibly, so when these things happen to them, that's why they don't complain. But with respect to Chelsea, we don't get the best of officiating on the English soil. I always lament that when we go to Europe, we get better officiating than when we are in England. So that's why we do well in Europe than Manchester United and even in some cases Liverpool. They have been pampered by the English referees to make them look as if they are the best. Meanwhile, they don't give same advantage to Manchester City, Chelsea, to some extent I would say Tottenham Hotspur and maybe Arsenal. The same advantage that they give to Manchester United and Liverpool. But in yesterday's game, it wasn't the fault of Liverpool anyway that Anthony Taylor misbehaved. But they were the direct beneficiaries of his behavior. That idiot Anthony Taylor only took 2 seconds to review the Reece James scenario. That incident, that even showed you the bias, how biased he is. I quite remember in a game at Stamford Bridge under Frank Lampard, Harry Maguire launched a tackle in between the legs of Espirito. He was supposed to be sent off. But referee Anthony Taylor didn't see that to be a sending off order. If it had been a Chelsea player, I would have sent him off. In that same game, 2 goals of Chelsea, Olivier Giroud and Kurt Zouma's goals were chalked off as offside. Whilst replay showed that it was not clearly an offside, even those players were onside. So you could see how I'm saying this. Yesterday's game, Liverpool were given free 3 points by the referee, but they couldn't take advantage of it. When the referee issued out the red card, I was monitoring and watching the game. I realized that it was over for Chelsea. Liverpool should have defeated us, possibly wallop us. So I disagree with those who are saying the number of men doesn't count. Though sometimes it does happen that fewer men do win games. In numerical disadvantaged teams do win games. But in most cases, 90%, those with numerical strength do tend to have the upper hand. And Liverpool failed to do that. And my respect for also Jurgen Klopp, who was honest enough after the post-match interview, during the post-match interview, to say that he would have preferred an 11 against 11 game so that he can assess his Liverpool strength very well, because playing 10 against 11 couldn't help him to assess his team very well. So I doff my hat and respect Jurgen Klopp for coming out honestly to say that yes, he agreed that it was a penalty, but a red card was harsh on the part of Reece James. He wanted to assess his team on the basis of strength of playing 11 against 11 with a good team, and not necessarily playing 10 against 11. So he wasn't happy that scenario occurred. And let me give you the ratings for the performance of the players. I think also, most importantly, the sponsors of the Premier League, as I highlighted, wouldn't be happy with the performance of Anthony Taylor. I'm not saying that if there is a red card incident in big games, the referee shouldn't give. But in most cases, certain decisions which are not too clear should be allowed to go on without necessarily giving a red card. Probably a yellow card could have been better in that scenario. Other than that, if I was saying that red card shouldn't be given in big games, then that is not what I mean, right? If somebody goes into with a reckless tackle, definitely he has to be punished, but not under the circumstance we saw Anthony Taylor do yesterday. And so to Liverpool, Anthony Taylor did a great disservice to Liverpool by not allowing them to play to their strength against the European champions. Even 10 against 11, they couldn't beat Chelsea. So that shows you the hallmark of a champion. I drop my hat for all Chelsea players. Edouard Mendy, in my opinion, my man of the match. He and Christensen, both joint man of the match, in my opinion, there. And then Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva. Let me give you the ratings of the players. Mendy had man of the match performance 9. Reece James 7.5, Christensen 9, Rudiger 8, Aspilicueta 8, Kante 7, Jorginho 7.5, Havertz 8, Mount 7, Lukaku 7, Alonso 6. Alonso in the ball leading up to the Liverpool controversial goal should have maybe communicated better with Mendy for Mendy to save the ball rather than Alonso heading in for Liverpool to have access to the ball, which resulted in that goal mouth melee and confusion there, in which the referee had to resort to 2-second look at check of his VAR to award, unfortunately, sent off Reece James. So that was quite unfortunate there. And so the referee really spoiled the game, and there wasn't anything to do in the second half on the part of Chelsea. At least we were tactically cautious, that we had some few 1 or 2 chances that we were supposed to take advantage of. But all the same, the players did well. I salute and doff my hat to the players for putting in a splendid, spirited European champions-like performance on that day. And without much ado, I say thank you very much for spending your time to be with me on this analysis. Cheers, I love you wherever you are. Please don't forget to subscribe and then smash the like button if you enjoyed the presentation. Agree or disagree with me in the comment box with respect to my opinion, and then also share the program to as many viewers as possible. Cheers, I love you wherever you are. Bye-bye.